And that brings me to the theme of this event: toxicology and public health, bridging science and policy for healthier communities. And with that introduction, I'm sure you can see that toxicology is actually saving our ecosystems and our communities. I welcome you all. Distinguished guests, eminent scholars, ladies and gentlemen, with gratitude to God, I welcome you all to the 12th International Conference of the West African Society of Toxicology here at Igbinedion University. IUO. IUO. I welcome you all. Thank you very much. As the chair for the local organizing committee, it is my great privilege to stand before you today and express my deepest gratitude to your presence at this momentous event. Hosting this conference is a huge honor, and I owe it to our ever insightful, solution-oriented, and far-sighted Vice Chancellor, Professor Lawrence Ifechukwu. Of course, and the incredible collaborative efforts between all the dedicated individuals, sponsors, partners, and organizations. You have worked tirelessly to bring us all to today. Thank you once more. Thank you for coming. This conference is more than just a gathering of experts. It's an opportunity to forge partnerships and share new insights. Think of this conference as a workshop, a place where you roll up your sleeves and get to work. We are not just to present papers and listen to keynote speakers, though those are certainly important. We are here to connect, to challenge each other's assumptions, and to forge collaborations that extend far beyond the walls of this university. My challenge to each of you is this: identify one concrete action you can take as a result of this conference. Perhaps it's a new research partnership, a commitment to mentor a young toxicologist, or a plan to engage with policymakers in your region. Let's leave Okada not just with new knowledge, but with a renewed sense of purpose and a clear plan of action. The solutions to the problems of Africa is in Africa. Let this conference challenge us to awake to our ecological problems we have in our various communities. Let's embark on community-based research to solve community-based problems. Gone are those days when researchers focus on highlighting problems. Now we must profile solutions with our research. This conference must be a clarion call for all of us. I want to extend a heartfelt gratitude to every member of our local organizing committee. They have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure this conference runs smoothly, and I am incredibly proud of their dedication. LOC, thank you very much for being a formidable team for me. Thank you. Finally, a huge thank you to all the participants. Your presence, your expertise, and your passion are what will make this conference so valuable. Let me also extend my appreciation to WASOT and its ESCO for standing strong on this assignment. Thank you, WASOT. And to our IUO community, thank you for your support. Deans and directors, HODs, thank you very much for coming. Dear all, let's make the most of this opportunity. Engage, connect and collaborate. I remember several years ago, the Vice Chancellor told me on one of my assignments, and I held it very dear to my heart, that I should ensure I value partnership. So please ensure you connect and ensure you collaborate. Let this be a platform to connect, engage, and collaborate. Our Vice Chancellor, sir, thank you once more for your formidable support at all times. Thank you all, and I wish you all an enriching and productive conference. Thank you.
I believe the LOC chair deserves another wonderful round of applause. It goes to show that the chief host for this event today is not just reliable and dependable, he is also solution-oriented. Please, can we appreciate our VC? We are moving, and at this point, I'd like to recognize the presence of Ms. L. Iai, the Assistant Secretary of WASOT. Please, can we appreciate her? I also want to recognize Mrs. L. Ndufeya Kumasi, the Financial Secretary of WASOT, as well as Dr. B. Odinga, the Treasurer of WASOT, and Dr. G. Udom, the Publicity Secretary of WASOT. Please, can we appreciate them? At this juncture, I'd like to invite to the microphone the President of WASOT for his address. None other but Professor Casey Patrick Iwaya. Please, can we appreciate the President?
Our chief host, the Vice Chancellor, Benedict University Okada. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the well-established protocol as I give my presidential address. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, researchers, policymakers, and students, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and humility that I stand before you today as the president of the West African Society of Toxicology, WASOT. I am most delighted to welcome all distinguished participants who have gathered here from across the region to the opening ceremony of the 12th International Conference and Annual General Meeting of WASOT, with the theme, Toxicology and Public Health, Bridging Science and Policy for Healthier Communities, holding here in the historic Okada Wonderland. This conference is very special, and it is a homecoming for WASOT members after this university and our very amiable Vice Chancellor hosted the 8th edition in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, WASOT was founded in 2011 by a team of very committed and sound scientists trained in various disciplines related to toxicology, and held its first conference at the University of Benin, Benin City, by no other than our chief host today, Professor Lawrence Zemoye, then the Director of National Center for Energy and Environment, NCEE, University of Benin. The society has so far grown from a few membership to a large number of enthusiastic toxicologists from within the West African sub-region. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, under my leadership, my team have consistently organized our monthly webinars over the last year. We have invited very sound guest speakers from around the globe to deliver thought-provoking lectures that have also formed a basis for networking for our members. I also wish to inform our distinguished guests that we have extended the growth of toxicology outside the shores of Nigeria. And as part of our mandate to grow toxicology in the region. In a collaboration between WASOT and the African Center of Excellence in Public Health and Toxicological Research, Esputo, University of Port Harcourt, Rivers State. In 2021, after a toxicological training school in risk assessment, we inaugurated the toxicology chapter at Fura Bay College, Freetown, Sierra Leone. Through the great efforts of the current Vice President of WASOT, Professor Rooney Fraser William, who is one of the awardees today. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, last year, we also inaugurated the Liberian chapter at the University of Liberia, Monrovia in Liberia. After a toxicology training school program also on risk assessment. Sir, between the 3rd and the 8th of February 2025, just 2 weeks ago, we again organized yet another toxicology training school program in risk assessment at Mbarara University of Science and Technology, MUST, Mbarara, Uganda. After which we also inaugurated the Eastern African Region of Toxicological Group, codenamed ToxUG. Ladies and gentlemen, within this short period, we have not only expanded our membership within the West African sub-region, but have also been able to grow toxicology outside the West African region, where toxicology is believed to be what? Highly underrepresented. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this year's conference theme reflects our collective commitments to addressing the pressing challenges we face in our day-to-day lives, from pesticide exposure to industrial pollution, from contaminated water sources to the alarming rise of e-waste. The threats to our health and environment are multifaceted and very urgent. It is based on these that we have carefully chosen the keynote speaker, Professor Godwin Ojuigile, who is a very active and practicing environmental remediation expert with very global exposure, and also our guest speaker for this conference, Professor Daniel Ikudaisi Olorunfemi, a renowned professor of molecular and environmental genotoxicology, who will deliver the lecture at plenary tomorrow. We are convinced that they and other presenters in this conference will do justice to the chosen theme and sub-themes. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore urge you all to pay rapt attention to enable us to come up with a communique at the end of the conference that will immensely contribute to solving the problems of our communities and protecting our public health and environments. Toxicology, as we all know, is a cornerstone of public health and environmental science. It is the discipline that bridges the gap between scientific discovery and practical solutions to protect human health and ecosystems from harmful substances. Therefore, in the West African region, where rapid urbanization, industrialization, and agricultural practices are transforming our landscapes, the role of toxicology has never been more critical. The West African sub-region is a region of immense potential, blessed with rich natural resources and a vibrant population. However, this potential is increasingly threatened by the adverse effect of toxic substances. I therefore urge that we should take a moment to reflect on the critical issues we face in the environment. For instance, agricultural chemicals. The widespread of pesticides and fertilizers in agriculture has led to the significant health risks of farmers and rural communities. Chronic exposure to these chemicals has been linked to cancers, reproductive disorders, and neurological conditions. In industrial pollution, As industries grow to meet the demands of a developing region, the improper disposal of hazardous waste contaminates our air, water, and soil. This not only endangers human health, but also disrupts ecosystems and biodiversity and environmental degradation. Deforestation, mining, and oil extraction activities have left lasting scars on our environment. These activities release toxic substances into ecosystems, threatening both human and animal life. A call to action. Ladies and gentlemen, to advance toxicology for health and environmental sustainability, we must take collective and decisive action. I therefore urge us to focus on the following key areas. Number one is research and innovation. We must invest in research to better understand the sources, pathways, and effects of toxic substances in our region. These include developing affordable and accessible diagnostic tools, remediation technologies, and safer alternatives to harmful chemicals. Also, in policy and regulation, stronger policies, and I'm glad we have policymakers here with us today, that stronger policies and enforcement mechanisms are needed to regulate the use, disposal, and management of toxic substances. Governments, in collaboration with scientists and civil societies, must work together to create and implement legislation. Capacity building. We must empower the next generation of toxicologists through education and training. Equipping our youth and mentees with the knowledge and skills to address challenges is very essential for long-term success. Community engagement. The fight against toxic hazards cannot be won without the active participants of communities. We must raise awareness, promote safe practices, and involve local populations in decision-making processes. Regional collaboration. Toxicology knows no borders. It knows no borders. We must strengthen regional cooperation to share knowledge, resources, and best practices. By working together, we can amplify our impact and achieve sustainable solutions. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on this conference, let us remember that our work is not just about science. It is about people and our environment. It is about ensuring that every child in the West African sub-region has access to clean water, every farmer can work without fear of harmful chemicals, and every community can thrive in a healthy environment. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate our highly distinguished awardees, who will today be conferred with the honor of the Fellow of the West African Society of Toxicology, WASOT. I would like to extend my warmest greetings to all of you who have gathered from across the region and beyond to deliberate on critical issues that affect the health and well-being of our people and the sustainability of our environments. Let me begin by acknowledging the magnanimity of the Vice Chancellor of Igbinedion University, Okada, Professor Lawrence Ikechukwu Ezemarie. I wish to let you all know that your Vice Chancellor means so much to WASOT. Let me tell you, the VC here hosted us when he was a director NCEE Uniben. He hosted us when he was a Deputy Vice Chancellor Uniben. He hosted us in his first tenure as a Vice Chancellor Igbinedion University, and today he's also our chief host. I would also like to recognize the tireless efforts of the local organizing committee led by Professor Georgina Erifeta, whose dedication has made this event possible. I also extend my gratitude to our sponsors, partners, and collaborators who have supported the conference. Your contributions are invaluable in fostering dialogue, innovation, and action in the field of toxicology. I owe a special gratitude to my wonderful, energetic, and enthusiastic EXCO members for their support. Please, can you stand up for recognition if you are here, EXCOs? Please stand up for recognitions. Thank you very much. For their support, resilience, and teamwork. I recognize all our sponsors, major stakeholders, and board of advisors, especially our own tireless, immediate past president of WASOT. I call him the gentle giant, a man with a very gentle disposition. Professor Ikem Chris Ekwozo. For your guidance and support since you handed over the mantle of leadership to us. In closing, I call on each of us to be agents of change. Let us use this platform to share ideas, forge partnerships, and inspire action. Together, we can advance toxicology for the betterment of our societies and the preservation of our planet. Thank you for your attention, and I wish us all a productive and impactful conference. Long live West African Center of Toxicology, long live Igbinedion University, and long live our shared commitment to health and sustainability. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Please, can we appreciate the president again? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually getting into the meat of the event for today. And if you look around, you'll notice that there are some people resting their heads on the pews. Please tap your neighbor, let them not miss out on what is happening. We need you to be alert. Ushers, please help me, we need you to be alert because we are getting into the business of the day. So please kindly pay attention, stay off your phones so you can learn as we progress. At this point, I would like to recognize the presence of Dr. Emmanuel Obonida, the Acting Director, National Center for Energy and Environment, under the Energy Commission of Nigeria, University of Benin, which is also a partner institution. Please, can we appreciate them? I would also like to recognize the awardees here with us, beginning with Professor Rooney Fraser Williams, the Vice President of WASOT from Furabe College, University of Sierra Leone. Please, can we appreciate him? We also have here another awardee, Professor Godwin O. Igile, who also doubles as the keynote speaker for today's event. He's a professor of industrial and environmental biochemistry, University of Calabar. He's seated to the right of the Vice Chancellor. Please applaud him again. We also have as one of the awardees, Professor Mrs. Adobe Patricia Ugome, a professor of aquatic ecology, Department of Animal and Environmental Biology, River State University, Port Harcourt. Please, can we appreciate her? We also have another awardee here, Professor Emeka Eze Joshua Iweala, who is the Central Leader and Director of the World Bank Funded Covenant Applied Informatics and Communication Africa Center of Excellence at Covenant University. Please, can we appreciate him? We also have another awardee, Sir Dr. Ebitimi Peter Berezi, the Provost Isaac Jasper Buru College of Education. Please, can we appreciate him? It is on that note, ladies and gentlemen, and our distinguished guests, that I would like to ask, can we, with a standing ovation, welcome to the microphone the Vice Chancellor and the Chief Host for his opening address.
Let me sit here. I was having a battle with the master of ceremony. Thank you very much. Thank you. The principal officers of the university, the provost, this and the rest. the Board of Advisors of WASOT here, the President, Executive, very distinguished awardees for this conference celebration. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, more importantly, very distinguished participants that have come from the West African region and beyond for this conference. I feel highly delighted to be addressing this occasion today, and I'll give all the glory to Almighty God. My excitement flows from the point of nostalgia. You know, several commentaries have been around on the formation and the pioneering efforts for the establishment of WASOT, which is now celebrating the 12th conference in a row. You know, I see on my left Professor Ekwazo Edoyen, indeed, not only in WASOT, but is in NEST as the Secretary of the Board of Trustees of the Nigerian Environmental Society, a colleague that we have worked closely together, and I've also pioneered my growth in environmental studies. So I appreciate Professor Ekwazo. Today, I enjoy a vivid scenario and visionary disposition of the utmost prize of mentor-mentee relationship. I can see one of the Professor Ekwazo students that I was the external examiner for our PhD. She's a professor here today. Please stand up for recognition. Public health is the essential ingredient for longevity. And everybody here aspires to enjoy the best longevity. We live in an area where environmental pollutants, industrial toxicants, food safety, and food safety concerns, including emerging environmental contaminants, all of them combine synergistically to threaten health and the well-being of mankind. It's a great concern. These pollutants, many of which are persistent, which means they do not destroy them, they are not degradable. And some of them are not just recalcitrant, they have long life share. thereby by accumulating, they can enter the systems and pose long-term health risk. Some of them and their methods of operation are still not understood. That is why it is worrying. Emerging contaminants like microplastics, some of members of my team are still working on that. Chemical pollutants, environmental toxicants, pharmaceuticals, and personal care products, including biological toxins, antimicrobial resistance, all of them now are presenting novel challenges that traditional toxicology has not yet fully addressed. Scientific research in toxicology is critical for developing accurate risk assessment to understand exposure pathways and identify safe thresholds for human health. This is very, very important. It is also important to emphasize toxicological relevance. And this can be captured in the activities that ensure safer chemical products, development of mechanistic understanding of effects, determining risk from chemicals and toxicants and their exposures, and more importantly, developing treatment therapy for chemical exposures and ensuring safe food and water supply. As a matter of fact, the gatherings and the speakers today will definitely expose this significance in their presentations. It is for this reason that mechanistic toxicology, descriptive toxicology, regulatory toxicology, risk assessment, translational and chemical toxicology are brought to bear. I must say categorically that without toxicological data, we will never determine safe levels, asked Professor Tongo. Without toxicological data, we cannot determine biomarkers. Without toxicological data, chemicals that will remain harmful and will not know the details of operation, either their chemodynamics or the chemokinetics, we cannot determine it except you have toxicological data. And I'm sure today, the various presentations and posters will be addressing this area for us to ensure longevity. As we face increasing environmental challenges and industrial expansion, the need for cutting-edge toxicological studies become very important and exigent and imperative. Through continued research, we can better protect vulnerable populations and ensure a healthier, safer future for all. Scientific research in toxicology has never been more essential than now as we speak today. However, I say however, science alone is not enough. Without a clear pathway to policy implementation, such research findings will remain in the laboratory at best at our shelves. But it is not supposed to be. We will not allow scientific findings to suffer. And so that is why we have an array of policymakers here in today's gathering, well thought out by WASOT, for them to take data and research findings and translate them into policies for implementation. That's why this conference is substantial and expedient. It is a call to action for scientists and policymakers to work together, ensuring that knowledge translates into tangible health benefits for all societies. Our university is in the forefront for translation of results of research products into implementation. This university runs what we call a mandatory masterclass program, where we bring in the experts from the industries, well experienced, to come to address the university and different fora, either as a public lecture or as a college lecture. Just yesterday, we had just finished one public lecture from the Center for Contemporary Security Affairs. And that lecture was an advocate for non-kinetic approach in counterterrorism. And the outcome of that project was the immediate mainstreaming of non-kinetic approach to counterterrorism into the curriculum of the Center for Contemporary Studies in Ibadan University. And we have insisted on the dire benefits of industry academia benefits. So this university, every postgraduate student graduates under the supervision of one supervisor from the university and one supervisor either from government or from the industry. And so we have been able to sustain that by establishing our industry academia board, made of the members of the industry, and it's currently headed by the DG of NOTAB here in this university. So we will continue to foster an environment where chemicals, pollutants, and contaminants are totally rid of. We have a Center for Climate Change and SDG goals, and that is their predominant assignment. So as I welcome you to this university, let me also reiterate the fact that this university thrives on interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary research, and we embellish our love for cooperation, for partnership and collaboration. And that is why when the overture was given to me at Port Harcourt, when I went to examine a PhD student on the valedictory of my dear friend, we accepted, not only in principle, but in affirmation, to host this second, this 12th meeting a second time. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to conclude, but I must say that an event of this magnitude would not have been possible without the unwavering support of our esteemed partners. Yes, we have not come on this journey alone. I extend my deepest appreciation to the organization, but more importantly, to WASOT that have deemed it necessary to have this second opportunity. It is not always easy to have a second overture, but we thank you very much for giving us this second opportunity, which reminds us of the second coming of Christ, the Parasite. To the West African Society of Toxicologists, again, kudos to the expansion. Today we hear boldly that we have gone beyond our mandate and we're now having an incursion into the Eastern region. It is possible that we'll go through the whole hog in Africa because toxicology and health is a global, continental, and regional affair. So, Mr. President, congratulations for what you are doing. And there to all participants, policymakers, students, and industry professionals that are here, I encourage you to engage actively in this discussion, share knowledge, and explore new collaborations. Networking contributes to your networking. So what you want is also a reflection of what you can next. So I enjoy you to join in the discussion, attend the plenaries, and as we embark on this deliberation at this conference, let us all be reminded that our collective goal is not just academic discourse, but real, palpable, impactful change is desirous. The communities that we serve depends on us to translate our expertise and our findings into policies that will protect public health and safeguard the environment and promote sustainable development. Once again, please pardon this lengthy address that is supposed to be a welcome. I breed toxicology, and so I speak toxicology. Thank you very much.
Can we put our hands together for our Vice Chancellor once more? I can see that there are still some students resting their heads on the table. I want to inform you that we have a very packed activity for you. We have Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor, sir. May I also, on that note, inform us that we still have the keynote lecture to come. We have the cultural display by the Department of Theatre Arts to come. We still have a tea break to come. So for those who are resting their heads, I hope when it's time for tea break, you will not stand up. So quickly now, I would like to invite to the microphone for his lecture on the topic, Toxicology and Public Health, Appraisal of the Niger Delta Pollution and its implication, the role of toxicologists in policy making for healthier communities. That is Professor Godwin Uju Igile. Please, can we appreciate him? Am I going to do? No, you give it to them. Let's see.
You won't come back. Sit here. Yeah. Yeah. Can you turn like this? Can you turn like this? No. I can handle it from here.
You can get your handle microphone.
I can now do it. Yes.
You may back to
Yeah. No, I'm okay. Good morning, everybody. My very indefatigable Vice Chancellor, sir, President and past President and Vice President of WASOT, I greet you all. I also greet the members of the Board of Trustees here present. Then, of course, although we woke up together, Dr. Mrs. Glory Gile, I greet you. The Vice Chancellor and my very good friend, Professor Patrick Iwanya, who have done very good job on my lecture already. And that I find very pleasing. May I also bring you Greetings from the beautiful city of Calabar. By the way, I wish to let you know that I am in my geopolitical zone. I'm a son of the soil here. I am a Niger Deltan. I am a South indigene. So I am standing on my soil. Thank you very much. Today we will be reviewing a few things about toxicology. You have seen from the introductions and the goodwill messages from the Vice Chancellor and Professor Patrick Wanyawu that toxicology today is a discipline that should be recognized by government and be established as a toxicology regulatory agency in Nigeria. I will be reviewing the toxicants in the Niger Delta, the way it is, and of course, be able to suggest policies and that will aid regulation to enforce environmental discipline and the practice of toxicology. You all know that persistent organic pollutants, polyaromatic hydrocarbons or polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, the way you want to say it, total petroleum hydrocarbons, volatile organic compounds, air pollutants, heavy metals, pesticide residues, xenobiotics, xenobiotic compounds, some of which have very complicated metabolic pathway, both in the first and second phase, biotransformation, synthesis, and excretion. But they continue to impact the human system, the human body. Perhaps most of the people in the Niger Delta, especially in hydrocarbon-bearing communities where crude oil extraction is taking place, are heavily contaminated. And probably most of the problems we see with liver issues, kidney issues, infective diabetes, cardiovascular diseases may be as a result of heavy exposure, constant exposure to compound whose responsibility will be the individuals that are already affected by that is toxicology. Toxicology aims to ensure that the behavior of safe levels are determined and predicted, and they should be put into policy for regulatory purposes. I thank Standards Organization for being here to also be part of this, because they regulate and formulate specifications for our cosmetics, toiletries, beverages, water, food, materials, and even building materials, plastics, just like the Vice Chancellor has talked about, microplastics we come to eat are coming from plastics, and they are here. We have seen where they said some people in some Asian countries have used plastics, brittle, and being able to cook the plastics as rice. They extrude them with the right orifice to look like, and stamp them to look like rice grains for people to cook and eat. We need toxicologists to be able to evaluate the of Nigeria. Some of us are also members of the Institute of Public Analysts of Nigeria. And that is because we understand the specifications, we understand the analysis, we understand what can be toxic in a product, so that the IPAN certificate given to NAFDAC will be respected. Because toxicology is a scientific field that studies the effects of substances on living organisms, toxicologists use this knowledge to develop public policy and overarching policies on food, drugs, and cosmetic safety, and thus ensuring that food products, water, and the environment are safe for people and animals, as was reported by Kyle in toxicology. Toxicologists also have the prerequisite knowledge and skills to carry out scientific toxicological assessment of the drugs to establish safe levels and safeguard against toxicities, as reported by PESAD 2020 and as reported by inform safe levels of exposure, women and low-income communities. You will see why it is so. Now, there are emerging toxicological threats at the moment. What are the threats? As our world changes, especially with climate change, so do the threats to our health, because new species are evolving, new microbes are evolving, new technologies are evolving, and there is even some known phytochemicals are changing from the same plants, changing in chemical structures, thereby posing very big challenges to us in terms of the current molecular docking procedures for drug discoveries. Now, environmental toxicology, also known as ecotoxicology, is a critical field that examines the effects of chemicals, biological agents, and physical hazards on human health and ecosystems. As human activities and industrial processes evolve, so do the environmental contaminants that pose risks to public health. Now, understanding and addressing these toxicological threats are essential to safeguarding public health. Pollutants and toxins are some of the emerging threats. This can lead to chronic diseases, developmental issues, and ecological damage. The study of the importance of environmental toxicology in public health enables professionals to assess risks, establish regulations, and develop strategies to mitigate exposures. This ultimately contributes to a healthier environment and population. And some of the emerging toxicological threats are as follows. Number one, chemical pollutants. Persistent organic pollutants, POPs, are chemicals that remain in the environment for a long time, just like the Vice Chancellor have said, and they are usually non-biodegradable and can accumulate in living organisms, including humans. These pollutants can have serious health effects, including various cancers, reproductive disorders, and the disruption of the immune system. With the rise of new synthetic chemicals, regulatory bodies face challenges in keeping up with safety assessments and implementing effective regulations. There is therefore the need for toxicological practice in Nigeria to complement the role of regulatory agencies. The second threat is environmental toxins. Air and water pollution are long-standing concerns, but new threats like microplastics are gaining attention. Microplastics are tiny particles that have been found in our oceans, food, and even drinking water, and they come from the poorly disposed plastics waste, plastic waste and plastics. The health effects of microplastics are still being studied, but there is growing concern about their potential to harm the human health. Of course, they are plastics, they are hydrocarbon compounds, and we do not know their mode of metabolism, especially in phase 1 reaction in xenobiotic biotransformation. We do not know. Now, heavy metals like lead and mercury continue to pose significant risks, especially in areas with outdated infrastructure, inadequate environmental protection. Lead is with mercury have been found in the Niger Delta in our region where we are sitting today. The third threat is antimicrobial resistance. Very many people have abused over-the-counter drug by buying tetracycline, ampicillin, ampiclox, and all kinds of drugs. Of course, from a toxicological perspective, antimicrobial resistance is an emerging threat as the overuse of antibiotics in medicine and agriculture creates resistant strains of bacteria. Of course, you know that antibiotics have been used a lot in the mix, in the food production for feed production for chicken, for poultry, for all kinds of animals, domestic animals. This resistance can make infections harder to treat, posing a significant risk to public health. The fourth threat is pharmaceutical and personal care products. Now, pharmaceuticals and personal care products are increasingly recognized as environmental contaminants
These substances can enter water systems through improper disposal and have been found to impact both human health and ecosystems. Some of these pharmaceuticals have the potential to discuss reproductive issues that affect life. Toxicology plays a pivotal role in shaping public health policies and preventive measures. By identifying and studying pollutants, persistent organic pollutants, pharmaceuticals, and biological toxins, scientists and regulatory bodies understand their impact. Resistance crucial in advancing public health. This is the way to go in protecting future generations from harmful effects of environmental hazards. You can see that the West African Society of Toxicology is an uproot from the World Society of Toxicology founded in 1961. And in Nigeria, toxicologists have contributed significantly in ensuring healthier communities by carrying out various EIAs, environmental impact assessment, risk assessment, and developing national policies. For instance, I developed the national policy on chemicals management in 2010. I developed the national policy on cosmetic safety last year in 2024. Right now, several individuals, groups, and organizations practice toxicological assessments and testing of products and the environment without knowing that they are practicing toxicology. It seems many people don't even know they are practicing. Now, they include the academia, where a lot of our colleagues are involved in evaluating all kinds of materials for human use, without knowing that they are practicing toxicology. Therefore, I encourage you as biochemists, chemists, pharmacists, pharmacologists, medical students, medical doctors, geologists, environmental scientists of all you can register with the West African Society of Toxicology as members and begin to be useful, more useful. So now that is why we call on NAFDAC, FCCPC, SON is here, Nestria, NOSDRA, IPAN, ICON, and research institutions among them to join the West African Society of Toxicology. There are very many areas of toxicology which the Vice Chancellor have mentioned for, and I have put it there. I don't want to defeat it. Descriptive toxicology is one of them. One. Risk assessment is one of them. Go on. Regulatory toxicology. Okay, let me say something that this area of toxicology studies involve setting regulatory rules, assuring compliance to environmental standards, product registration, and allowable concentrations in food, drug, or cosmetics to be understood. And with legal considerations and technical feasibility data to support the claims. Regulatory agencies and academic researchers are usually involved in this area, especially NAFDAC, SON, FCCPC, Nestria, and NOSDRA. One. Regulatory toxicology assesses the public and environmental health risks stemming from the use of chemicals, drugs, pesticides, foods, and consumer products, including industry responsibility for about 10 trillion annually in worldwide trade for cosmetics, indicating that economic aspects play a key role when changing regulatory approaches. However, both the regulated and the regulating communities, as well as the general public, are increasingly disappointed with the regulatory toolbox, which relies heavily on decades-old animal testing methods and to their poor reproducible outcomes and low throughput. That we shall see. Go on. We have translational toxicology at the moment. In the translational toxicology, we have developed a product called clogene. The clogene we have developed is extracts from various plant materials combined with triethanolamines and oxidoreduction reactive species compounds to make the product able to break even C35, C42 carbon chains to small chains for microbes to eat. The protein and groundwater and surface water polluted hydrocarbons. If sprayed in the air, it is oxides of nitrogen. Now, that is about the translational aspects of it. Let's go to the next aspect of the. So, we have carried out a small review of toxicology, which we all, most of us and my colleagues here are experts in that. They know that a lot. But let's see now what is happening in the Niger Delta. So the appraisal and assessment of the present state of the Niger Delta, that the present state of pollution in the Niger Delta is what we want to look at briefly, and then we can go down to conclude. That is Nigeria. And that portion colored yellow is the Niger Delta. That's a map of Nigeria showing the Niger Delta region. And now that portion has shown the states that constitute the Niger Delta region, including my state, Cross River. Let me start from there to Akwa Ibom, Abia, Imo, Rivers, Bayelsa, Delta, and our Edo, where we are standing, and of course, Ondo State. Those 9 states constitute what we call the Niger Delta region, because they are petroleum-bearing and bearing states. And that's what we have said. Go next. Several studies have documented the extent and severity of oil spills and other forms of hydrocarbon pollution in the Niger Delta region, highlighting the environmental and socio-economic implications of these issues for the region and its inhabitants. A good publication by Ajay et al. 2022, my publication, Igile et al. In 2015, have shown, and of course, Elhum et al. 2016, Ite et al. 2013, have all shown considerable characterization of the subsoil and the groundwater and surface water environment of the Niger Delta. Now, ever since oil was first discovered in the Niger Delta region, many companies have come to extract oil from our soil, damage the ecology of the area without any repair, without decontaminating the area. This has resulted in disproportionate exploitation of the region's crude oil resources, which has become the mainstay of Nigeria's economy, and at the same time polluted significantly the environment. or polluted the environment significantly. That is a picture of crude oil spill at Ubeji community, Warri, in 2007. And I was given the contract to decontaminate it in 2009. I completed the contamination in 2010. Was these are also that go back again. This is also in Warri area at Ajaeto community of at the back of Warri refinery. This huge pollution was there. Again, I was awarded the contract in 2018 and I completed it in 2020. Using toxicologically researched and translational outcome to do the work. Now, this is crude oil spill at Ikara. Ikara community is in the south of Edo, the southern Edo part. Maybe somebody from here is from Ikara. This is what is happening at Ikara. It is like that and is still being evaluated by the federal government for decontamination. Next. Now, the petroleum industry and its activities, from drilling and exploration to handling, storage, refining, transportation, and bunkering activities, accounts for over 90% of the pollution and contamination in the Niger Delta region. We just published that. This contamination, which may be over 50 years old, is persistent, very persistent, and contribute to various forms of toxicities in the environment. Again, we just published that. The contamination of the Niger Delta environment affects the topsoil, subsoil, surface water and groundwater, as well as air. Let's go. Now, the hydrocarbon contaminants include total petroleum hydrocarbon compounds, and there are C5 to C35 compounds generally is what we have found. It consists of monoaromatic and the polyaromatic compounds. Some of them are speciated and some are non-speciated. Other hydrocarbon contaminants include PAS, B-Tex-N compounds, POX, and free-phase volatile organic compound VOCs in subsoil, groundwater, and surface water. For those of us involved in the present remediation processes in Ogoni, this is what we see practically. And as we recover the free phase and recover the crude oil, we hand it over to Shell. The rest of the soil or groundwater is at the moment being remediated using very safe bioremediation technologies. The groundwater using both air spudging, biospudging, pump, treat, and inject systems, as well as electro-oscillation systems for the groundwater. And we have gotten excellent results where hydrocarbon materials have broken down from over 1,700,000 and something thousand microgram per liter of groundwater. The total TPH now has come down to below 100. Go down, go back again, still continue. But you know that the contaminations, as people are benefiting from these contracts, some of them are not even of the southern, they are not Nigerians, and they are benefiting from the contracts. And but why is it that we continue to have our waterways, farmlands being destroyed? And as the waterways are being destroyed, the fish and the people are denied of arable land and fishing waters. Go next. Go next. All these are the fishing waters being polluted with. All that you see is crude oil. Go on. You see all of that. This is at Efiekoro, and this is at Cocoa Community in Delta State. This one we didn't know where it came from, but it's from the Niger Delta. Come down. Oh, that's Warri South. This is at Ijala Community as you are going to. Ijala Community is as you are going to what we call the Ogorodo at the Escravos channel. That community had so much crude oil all over the place, and I was just asking the people, how then do you wash in your clothes? They have no water to wash their clothes. Go on. Now, crude oil spills in the Niger Delta region has contributed to all this damage. And look at what will happen. The contamination has damaged the waterways. We have said that. So go again. Continue. Let's go. Look at how farmland and water, the whole of that place, the wood has been lost. Have you seen the effect to the environment? Both the wood, the forest is lost. The farmland is contaminated. The water where the fish be is also contaminated. Next. The same story. Next. Okay, look at the fish. These are dead fish from crude oil spill. And this, if someone were to sell this fish, you know how much the person will make. Okay, go on. Now, Chibike et al. In 2022 reported that a total woodland covering 38,383 square kilometers has been lost in the Niger Delta. This was as a result of a study he carried out in a forest area in the Niger Delta covering 109,500 square kilometers. Because of crude oil spill, out of that, 38,383 square kilometers have been reduced to nothing. No more forest. No, it cannot even be timber. It cannot be anything. It cannot be used for anything. Now, the study utilized the normalized difference vegetation index methodology, NDVI, as global information base and ROS tools to determine the intensity of pollution caused by oil spillage in the Niger Delta area for the past 10 years. So this is the vegetation 10 years ago of Niger Delta. Now, 10 years later, go on, 10 years later. Look at 10 years later, have you seen the loss of vegetation? We've lost already 20-something% of our vegetation. So go on. Now, accompanying this oil pollution, crude oil pollution, accompanying oil activities and drilling is the contamination of the same zone with heavy metals. Look at. So other contaminants in the Niger Delta area are heavy metals, some of which are brought to the surface through drilling operations. Some of them are bound metals. They are not free, like mercury. So, and that's why we have methyl mercury as one of the species of compounds being brought to the surface to contaminate our world. But the key metals being studied that have contaminated, that are of global concern, include cadmium, chromium, arsenic, lead, and iron. Nduka and Orisakwe published that. Now, also, apart from that, we have compounds carrying metals in the Niger Delta. Recently, we have seen methyl mercury, ferrous sulfate, ferric ammonium sulfate, ferrous carbonate, and ferric chloride, which are dangerous to humans, animals, and the environment. Now, the air quality also is polluted. If you should be where oil spills are, and you see oil spills around people's homes. The air quality is also compromised, especially if you look at my publication on the air quality around Warri Refinery in 2015, Journal of Scientific Research and Reports. You will see what I got as the results. Go on. Now, look at the heavy metals in Ekpan, Efioporo, Ajaiton, Ijala when compared to USEPA maximum concentration limits. Have you seen both the river, shallow wells and borehole, see the kind of heavy metals, see their concentrations? Aren't those concentrations, except mercury though, that is below specified limit, but look at the whole concentrations there, are higher than what was supposed to be. So the water generally in the Niger Delta, especially in the petrol, where the contaminations are already polluted. The water is polluted with heavy metals. So let's go. Now, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, SPARs, anthropogenic activities, including crude oil drilling, burning of dump sites, gas flaring, artisanal oil refining, and bush burning are the major sources of PAS in the Niger Delta. Now, various site characterization studies have shown that PAS are widespread in the Niger Delta. We have the results, mainly due to long-term drilling, and of course, yes, it's a repeat. PAS pollutants are ubiquitous and found in subsoil, surface water, groundwater, and terrestrial ecosystem. Studies have also shown that the rate of PAS deposition accelerates in the soil and sediments due to their higher hydrophobicity and low aqueous solubility. Now, PAS are strongly absorbed onto soil particles, and therefore, the soil ecosystem becomes an ultimate sink for PAS. Soil PAS pollution can be classified into three categories: unpolluted, with total PAS, this is below 200 nanograms per gram; weakly polluted, PAS between 200 to 600 nanograms per gram; and heavily polluted PAS greater than 1 nanogram per gram. Wu et al. Reported that. The main properties of PAS include heterocyclic aromatic ring structure, hydrophobicity, and thermostability. And that is why they are also part of POPs, very persistent in the environment, non-biodegradable, highly bioaccumulative, and they biomagnify in our human systems and organs. Now, these properties have made them to be recalcitrant and highly persistent in the environment. Past persistence in the environment have enabled them to exhibit a wide range of high biological toxicities, including mutagenic, carcinogenic, teratogenic, and immunotoxicogenic activities to various life forms, including humans, animals, and the rest of the environment. Remediation of PAS from the environment has been a global concern, and bioremediation is key method to the remediation of PAS. Okay. In situ and ex situ biological treatments such as land farming, biostimulation, bioaugmentation of nutrients in soils, in imparted soil phytoremediation, bioreactor mix, and vermi remediation approaches are also being used in treating PAS and crude oil pollution. Emerging technologies employing multi-process combinatorial treatments also exist. And newer concepts in generation of value added byproducts during power remediation have also been used. We are using that also, combining trenching with bioremediation as well as agitations, etc. These are the various parts. You can see low, medium weights, and the high, medium weight parts. Those are the various structural parts you can see. Those are the low, and these are the high, medium weight, especially for all of us who those are students. Let's go. Let's go. So, and these are various parts. It's okay. Look at the various parts in the environment. Go on. Apart from parts, pesticides, because the Niger Delta is an agrarian community, we are also involved in farming. So we use pesticides, herbicides of all sorts to control weeds. And so in addition to the pollution caused by petroleum drilling, we also add to the environment by using pesticides for our agricultural purposes. So thereby having all these kind of pesticides again in the environment to deal with, giving us more toxic environment. Go on. Now, look at our regional geology. A solid geological map indicates that some parts of the region, especially around rivers and Bayelsa states, are initially underlain by the Akata Formation, which consists of sand, silt, and clays. Now, the Akata Formation was then overlain by the Agada Formation with recent deposits of the Benin Formation. Now, the Benin Formation consists of fine-grained sand, clay, and silt with an average thickness of about 2,500 meters, as reported by Rangers in 2011, around Upper Delta and Edo states at about 1,000 to 1,500 meters thick around the Lower Niger Delta and Port Harcourt region. That is the thickness of the clay silt sand in the region. Keep going. Keep going. Let me leave out the regional geology. This is the lithology of the region. These are the lithologs. They show Gokana and Deleme. We have other lithologs for Delta and rivers. Go on. And the lithologs expose where this concentration of petroleum contaminants are in the soil and in water. Go on. You can see a profile of Kedere in Gokana, how the lithologs show due to the topography of the area and of course, due to the drainage and the hydrology of the subsoil. Go on. This also shows that when you have a contamination somewhere there, the plume, the contamination that can take place in Ogara, the plume can reach Okada. So a contamination taking place at Ogara can affect Benin. Now, look at various areas that have been examined and the range of TPH exceedance in the soil and TPH in groundwater. Have you seen that in groundwater, somewhere there is 2,730,000 micrograms of total petroleum hydrocarbon in your drinking water, in groundwater? All of this in the Niger Delta. So look at the contaminants. Now come back to go down. Look at again in boreholes. Look at in boreholes how much 63,000 is the TPH, 63,000, and a depth of only 1.6 meters, 69 meters. You have already 63,000. And look at the various, these are for unconfined aquifers of the boreholes. Go on. The effect of hydrocarbon pollution in the Niger Delta has caused persistence of hydrocarbon compounds, TPH, PAS, heavy metals, and pesticide residues in the environment. 2, it has caused bioaccumulation of these pollutants in food crops and the food chain. 3, it has caused biomagnification of these pollutants in humans, leading to various forms of toxicities, endocrine disruptions, and cancers. 4, it has contributed to the loss of forests and the very important mangrove species. 5, it has caused stunted growth of our crops and giving us poor yields, especially cassava, okra, fluted pumpkin, yams. Yams don't exist again because of toxicity of these things. These days, yams and cassava are very tiny when people plant them. Come down. So look at we have talked about the loss of forest. Come down. Let's go down to the conclusion. Let's go to the conclusion because of time. My conclusion is that the federal government of Nigeria should urgently discuss the formulation of a national policy on toxicological practice in Nigeria. 2, the federal government should establish a toxicology regulatory agency to regulate all forms of toxicities in the environment for healthier communities. 3, toxicology testing methodology should be standardized. And 4, environmental concerns should be integrated into major public health decision-making process. Go to the next one. Okay, these are references. Because of time, I thank you for listening.
Please, can we appreciate our keynote speaker again? Thank you very much. Moving quickly, I'd like to recognize the presence of Dr. Efemina Onu Ubeda from World Health Organization, also one of the principal partners of this particular event. Please, can we applaud him? I also want to recognize the presence of Professor Usunobun Usunomena, a professor of biochemistry and former dean of Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences and former director of academic planning, Edo University, Yamo. Please, can we applaud him? I would also recognize the presence of Dr. Israel E. Eboyemen, immediate past president of the Department of Biochemistry, Ambrose Ali University, Ekoma. Please, can we applaud him? It's on this note that I would like to invite to the microphone to oversee the next phase of this particular event, the president of WASOT, Professor Kingsley C. Patrick Iwayan. Please, can we appreciate him?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. MC. After the keynotes lecture, I want to have the pleasure to invite the Vice Chancellor to please help us to present a plaque of appreciation to the keynote speaker. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir. All right, thank you. So we quickly go to the next item on the agenda for today. But because of time, because of want of time and the very busy and tight schedule of the Vice Chancellor, we'll quickly skip some of the items and go straight now to the conferment of the award of fellowship to our awardees. And in doing this, this is something we have been doing in the last couple of years. In the past, we have presented plaques to our awardees. But in this conference today, we are going to do something that is very, very historical. We thought it wise to decorate our fellows So in this conference today, we're going to commence that tradition of decorating our fellows. Please, a round of applause for all of them. And again, because in WASOT, we also have a tradition of respecting our founding fathers. And because our founding fathers in their time were not decorated. So today, we are going to start this award ceremony by first and foremost decorating our own. Our Vice Chancellor, who has been so much, so much support. It's so enormous. Please, a round of applause for him. Yes. And what you see today as WASOT, many of you don't know the power and how influential your Vice Chancellor is. A small meeting was held somewhere in Cameroon. And when they got to Cameroon, to the Cameroons, they realized that many of them that attended that conference or the small meeting were mostly Nigerians. And your Vice Chancellor, Professor Lawrence Zemoye, came back to Nigeria and said, no, why do we have to go to other places when we have majority here? And he was instrumental to the formation of the West African Society of Toxicology. So because we cherish our own and we respect our elders, today, my ESCO and I will decorate him. And after that, we are not going to read the citation because if you start to read the citation, we will not leave here today. So after that, we are also going to decorate our, I called him the gentle giant. When you see him, very calm disposition, but he's a man of heavyweight. So the immediate past president of the West African Society of Toxicology, Professor Chris Ikemekwozo, will also be decorated today. And when we are done with that decoration, they will now decorate the new awardees. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to call on my ESCO. So please, ladies and gentlemen, I want to call on the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lawrence Zemoye, to please come forward to be decorated as a life member, founding father of the West African Society of Toxicology. Wow.
The president of WASOT, I am really overwhelmed by this gesture. We thank God for the courage and determination to always take the first bold step. I remember in Cameroon, Boya, an experience that has metamorphosed into today's and this decoration. I'd like to thank the ESCO that have deemed it very necessary to oblige us with this honor. We will continue to do our best for WASOT. Be rest assured that whenever I'm called upon, I will be ready to support WASOT. And for this decoration, I will leave an undisclosed amount.
Thank you very much, BC sir. You deserve the best, and you deserve to be the first to be decorated in WASOT. Thank you. A round of applause for him. So we go to the next, our iconic immediate past president. He is a professor of many professors, a professor of vice chancellors, a professor of international and global visibility and everywhere. He's too enormous. I can't describe him enough. But today, he has given so much support, so much assistance. You can imagine, even though he's retired, he's not tired. He came all the way with us from Port Harcourt yesterday, despite a very long journey. And today he's here with us. So what you see us do today are the things we learned from there. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me, please, to invite to the podium Professor Chris Ikem Ekwazo. Gentle giants.
Well, what will I say? You say one good turn deserves another visit. What we did for WASOT was doing our best to improve our society. By this appreciation, they are calling us to continue the work. We'll always be behind you. And following the speech of my very good friend and Vice Chancellor, I look around, I see that two of us have been having rebats. If we count professors here that we've met, it will astound you. If I count PhDs we supervise, it will astound you. Because even as Vice Chancellor, I'll call him, come and examine my PhD. Within 2 weeks, he will come and do that. And in return, when he calls me, he said, look, my friend, I have a PhD, I want you to come and examine. Within 1 week, I'll go and do that. I know some of the professors here that we've done. Yeah, I can see Professor Togo. He has professed master's, PhD, leadership, and full professorship. I call her my daughter. Can see another of my daughters who is also a professor. And my last son, my latest son, not the last, because I tell my students that most social lecturers are my children. So these people are my grandchildren. And once you have grandchildren, you keep on expecting to have more and more. Thank you, WASOT, for this day. Thank you. And we look forward that next, there'll be a competition for where we're going to go next. I know that I won't say it, he will say it by himself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So right now, we'll go straight to the conferment of fellowship award to all our awardees. And I would like us to keep a seat for them somewhere so that once they are decorated, they can take their position as fellow. We won't joke with them because it's the highest honor you can get from West African Society of Toxicology. So the first of the awardees Today, I have the honor and the privilege to invite our keynote speaker, Professor Godwin Oju Igile. Okay. Okay, so please, the Vice Chancellor is about, please tell him to wait. Please, can you help us call the Vice Chancellor so that we can take a group picture before he leaves? After that, we'll come back for the other decoration. Thank you very much. So we need to take an official photograph for this program. So please, let's meet outside for the program. But meanwhile, we'll be having the entertainment from the cultural group of the university. Thank you. So please, let's join them outside for the official photo.
Nation document. That you don't to me. I don't know. What have you done to me? I don't know. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me. It has me you. I need you. I need you from my family. Believe me. Believe me. It has me you. I need you. I need you from my family. It must be you. It must be you. I need you. I need you from my family. It must be you. It must be you. I need you. I need you from my family. Oh, baby, oh, been in love with you for days. Done it with you for so long. So long. I'm crazy, oh, I'm crazy of you. It's in my to make you know what you want, believe you know. Me. I will not deceive you, not deceive me. And my love will pass to love you. If I fall in my hand, I'll back to you. If you want, if you know. I will not deceive you, not deceive me. And my love will pass to love you. If I fall in my hand, I'll back to you. Baby, baby, what have you done to me? I don't know. Oh, yeah. What have you done to me? I don't know. Believe me. If you ask me, I need you. I need you for my family. It must be you. It must be you. I need you. I need you. Oh, pretty, pretty, my pretty, pretty. I can give you my name. Follow me, let's go. And I'll go. Follow me, make me go. Oh, pretty, pretty, my pretty, pretty. Make I give you my name. Follow me, let's go. And I'll go. Follow me, make me go. What you want, believe it, you know, believe it. I will not deceive you, not deceive me. My love go past the love you give me. If I fall
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please, can we quickly conclude this aspect of the award ceremony so that we can go for our tea break? Please, I want to crave your indulgence. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit down, take your seats. Let's conclude this award ceremony and decoration of our fellows. Please sit down, please, everyone sit down. Please, can you tell those outside to come back inside so that we can conclude the ceremony? LOC, please, can you tell those outside to please come back to the hall? Please sit down, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now, okay, don't get worked up. You are doing well. Don't get worked up. Let us just present that work. Yeah, it's okay. It's busy. You can't take it. You can't take it in.
Presentation.
Who do you want to be there?
I want to give these visitors
Okay.
so that when they're having their tea break, they don't have to be dancing in the living room.
Okay, all right, no problem. So encourage.
But we need to call them to give them gifts and appreciation, some World Health Organization, and they need to give their good message.
So do that after the, yes, after that, let's just call people to come in. So we'll continue with the awards ceremony. Please ask everyone out there, please, to come back to the hall. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I have, love it. So you bring that when we are ready. So I have the honor and the privilege to read the citation on our keynote speaker, Professor Godwin Ojuigile. Please, Prof, can you stand up? Professor Godwin Ojuigile was born on the 8th of December, 1963 in Asiga community of Yakoro local government area, Cross River State of Nigeria, to the family of late Chief and Mrs. Samuel Ojuigile. He completed his primary school education in 1974 and passed the first school living certificate examination with a distinction at St. Peter's Primary School, Asiga, Yakoro local government area, Cross River State. He proceeded to St. Brendan's Secondary School, Iyamoyon, Omubra, Cross River State, and passed the West African School Certificate Examination in 1979 with a distinction. Professor Ojuigile holds several diplomas and certificates in many academic and professional fields, including chemical engineering, industrial engineering, water engineering, and biotechnology. Professor Godwin Ojuigile is a professor of biochemistry with specialization in industrial and environmental biochemistry, biochemical toxicology, and natural products chemistry. His areas of specialization informed his over 12 years sojourn in the manufacturing industry, where he served at various capacities in PZ Cousins as quality assurance manager, production manager, research and development manager, and several technical roles. He was appointed member of the National Mercury Expert Committee in 2008, led by Professor O. Oshibanjo of the Department of Chemistry, University of Ibadan. He also served as a member of HYPREP Sustainability of Potable Water Project for Ogoni in 2022. Professor Godwin Igile is accredited to operate as an environmental consultant by the Federal Ministry of Environment. Consequently, he has carried out and reported with relevant certification several EIA studies in Nigeria. Due to his translational research, which produced clogene, an effective and globally competitive nutrient for the bioremediation of hydrocarbon contaminated sites in the Niger Delta region, Professor Godwin Igile was appointed consultant for the decontamination and bioremediation of WRPC hydrocarbon oil sludge impacted sites at Ubeji community of Warri in 2009 and over 60 BSc students in biochemistry. He has published in peer-reviewed journals and has contributed chapters in PhD students and elsewhere in the world. Professor Igile is happy to Dr. Mrs. Gloria Ogechi Igile, and their marriage is blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming West African Society of Godwin. Please, I want to call on Professor Ekuozo to come and do the decoration first. Thank you.
On behalf of the West African Society of Toxicology, we award you a fellow of the society. So you are now authorized to use the privileges of that office. Fellow WASOT. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So we call on the next awardee, Professor Rooney Fraser Williams.
The citation of Professor Rooney Fraser Williams. Ronnie A.D. Fraser Williams is a professor of environmental and analytical chemistry. Sorry, please, I just cited the university orators in the room. Professor. Is the Dean of Law, and I will crave your indulgence to allow him with the citation for Professor Williams. Thank you.
I hope you will indulge me after this.
So we have a.
Thank you. Well, do I call this a citation or a profile of Professor Ronnie Fraser Williams, 4B College, University of Sierra Leone? Please. Oh, he's already standing. Okay, thank you. Ronnie A.D. Fraser Williams is a professor of environmental and analytical chemistry at the Department of Chemistry, 4B College, University of Sierra Leone. He held a BSc with honors in chemistry, University of Sierra Leone in 1993, Masters of Engineering and Masters of Science in Environmental Science and Technology in Netherlands in both 1997 and 1998, respectively, and a PhD in Environmental Technology, Cranfield University, UK in 2008. He deserves a round of applause for him, please. Of course, this great man, Professor Ronnie, main research area include the use of wetland system for wastewater and greywater treatment, recycling and pollution control, design and operational consideration to optimize constructed wetland pollutant removal efficiency, the use of aquatic microphages in stripping nutrient and heavy metals from wasteland, environmental impact assessment, environmental management plan, and other studies of dump site and solid waste management studies, pollution abatement measures in soil, sediments, heavy studies. This great professor of amiable disposition, Ronnie, is a member of several reputable international scientific organizations, notably West Africa Society of Toxicology, Society of Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry, Society of Westland Scientists, and Vice President of West Africa Anglophone Quality Assurance Network. Please, let's applaud him. As an astute administrator,
Professor Ronnie Fraser Williams served as the Executive Secretary at the Tertiary Education Commission, Sierra Leone, between 2019 and October 2020. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, aside from the scientific world, Professor Ronnie Fraser Williams is a trained quality assurance expert for higher education institution. He is a DAD recognized trainer. Please, gentlemen, you know what DAD means. I'm not an expert in that area, but all of you will understand. For quality QA training in the management of higher education institution. In 2017, Professor Ronnie was pivoted in the development of an application to transform higher education institutions in Sierra Leone, which resulted in an award of £4.5 million funded by DFID administered by King's College London and Price Waterhouse Corporation. Professor Ronnie went to serve as joint project manager and work package lead for quality management system of the project, and that lasted for 3.5 years. This great man of amiable disposition is here standing for the award. Thank you.
And then come there already know. I'll be right beside you. Like the wall of Jericho. They don't know, they don't know, they don't. You know, wanna get so, my baby boy. I'll be a soldier for you. I'm getting better in kung fu. You should know I got. And you don't need to go to. I'll be right beside you in anything that you do. If you ever need saving, I'll be running to you, running to you. I'll be running to you, running to you. Anywhere that you.
Let me use this opportunity to thank the president, ESCO members, advisors, and everybody of WASOT for this award, and to consider me to be an awardee of the 12th International Conference of WASOT that happened to take place this year at the Benedict University of Okada. Of course, WASOT has come a long way. I can remember as far back as 2010, when I attended the Cameroonian Society of Toxicological Society. And then the idea of forming WASOT was in its infancy. And for such a time like this, I will really extend sincere gratitude to Professor Orish, who is not here, but who was very, very keen to get me connected after that 2010 conference in Cameroon. And ever since, he linked up with me, and the partnership with him extended and beyond. Toxicology is very, very important. And I've been almost relentlessly working to bring toxicology at the fore in Sierra Leone. A few years back, Esputo collaborated with the Department of Chemistry to organize the first international trip within our university. And I must say today, Professor Casey, that has yielded some fruit. Because we, even in as much as we had pockets of courses and lectures, but as a result of that, we have now formally had modules in toxicology. Again, because of my heavy load back home, I have now resorted to teach or to lecture only final year students. But because and because it's the first time we have now had tumor intervention toxicology modules at level 3, I have only opted to lecture courses on toxicology only at level 3 because it's on toxicology. My efforts in promoting toxicology will not relent. And of course, I was pivotal in ensuring that toxicology extends to Liberia. While I was sitting there, I've sent a link to them because they are not able to come. And I'm in touch with them. And I'm making sure through some other means to ensure that, as the name implies, West African Society of Toxicology, we have a very good presence of toxicological research and its activities across West Africa. Let me thank you once again for this award, and it will only serve as a motivation for me to continue going forward. Thank you very much.
To bring a you want to
You want to read? Okay. Okay.
yeah, just a brief version. What is we just invite them. So love it.
May we have Professor Mrs. Adaobi Patricia Gome to come to the stage for our award. Maybe you read the other two. Okay, because I don't, I'm not an expert in this area, and I didn't prepare this. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a brief profile of Professor Mrs. Adaobi Patricia Ugbome, a professor of aquatic ecology, Port Harcourt. Professor Adaobi Patricia Ugbome is a multifaceted leader, an acclaimed academist, environmental biologist, dedicated mother, minister, and committed community advocate. Her career as an aquatic ecologist at River State University, Port Harcourt, highlight her outstanding contribution to science, education, and society at large. Please let's applaud her. Professor Ugbome has demonstrated remarkable success in her academic career. Born on the 5th of May some years back, she passed her primary and secondary school in flying colors. But while at the secondary school, she won many awards precisely in able guests, some of which are best graduating student chemistry, biology, mathematics, literature in English, and overall best graduating student. She's purely a science student, but yet she was the best graduating student in literature in English. Please let's applaud her. Professor Ugbome bagged an HND in applied biology with distinction in 1992 in River State University of Science. 1982. MP in marine biology in 1987 and PhD in environmental biology in 2014. He's married to a half-top Henry Udo Ugbome in 1982, and they have children and 3 grandchildren. This is a grandmother we are talking about. Professor Ugbome joined the River State University, then ROSUST, in 1985 as a graduate assistant, and was upgraded in 1987 after obtaining an MPhil in marine biology. In 1990, she won a postmaster award from the Association of Commonwealth University for 6 months at the University of North Wales in Bangor, UK, under Dr. D.A. Jones. She attained the rank of a professor in 2020. She has over 78 peer-reviewed research publications
in high impact journals with 346 citations. An H index of 10 and an 1010 index of 12 on Google Scholar. He's a Google Scholar, to be precise. This great professor has successfully supervised more than 15 MSc and 13 PhD students and many undergraduate students. He's recognized as both internal and external examiner at the postgraduate level. She's an adept at reviewing articles for publication in many journals under Springer, Elsevier, Toxicology, Digest, Science Domain, and many others. Her leadership roles include former head of department and associate dean of science, Rivers State University, treasurer, WASOT, under Professor Ike Ewenzo, fellow, Emergency Crisis and Disaster Risk Management Institute, currently the treasurer, PANDF, Plan Niger Delta Forum, Niger State Chapter, Secretary General, Apex Association of Anioma Indigene, Incorporated, Secretary, South-South-Southeast Culture, Heritage and Tourism Summit, Controller, Ndokwa Patriot, Advanced Forum. Currently, the woman leader, Ndokwa NECU Union, NNU, the Apex sociocultural body of the Indo-Shemili, Okwani people, and many more. A deaconess in Redeemed Christian Church. Please, Mr. Chairman, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have here presenting to you a donation for your award. Thank you.
I didn't know vex for me. Said I never call you since, but I hope that you are well. I hope you're my character. Every day I pray for you. I forget you, I won't forget you. See my shoulder, make you rest on me. Oh, I got you. Me be your friend indeed. Money don't show now. I don't keep some for you. Don't go so far.
Come out. Let them take three of them.
This is my department. How do you do, my friend?
Congratulations.
Oh, sometimes you understand. Oh, when you send you, that's what I did for you, my friend. How are you, my friend? How do you do, my friend? Oh, sometimes you understand. Oh, when you send you, that's what I
Thank you.
my friend. Oh, Remy,
The president of WASOT, I want to say thank you. The ESCO, I want to say a special thank you to my father, my mentor, former supervisor, the father of the Department of Animal and Environmental Biology, Professor Ike Ekwozo. He has stood by us. He has shown us the way, and I've walked in it, and I am grateful. I want to encourage everyone here to say that, once you're on the right track, you will get there. When I got in here and I looked at the high table, I did not see a woman sitting there. I complained that the high table was not gender sensitive. But thank God that there is one woman here now that is being inducted. And I'm glad that I'm that person. I want to thank you all for recognizing me. And I pledge that I will do all that it takes, to move the association forward and to move toxicology forward. Thank you very much.
Please, can we have Professor Emeka as Joshua Iwala come up? Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present to you Professor Emeka Eze Joshua Iwala, Center Leader and Director of the World Bank-funded Covenant Applied Informatics and Communications African Center of Excellence at Covenant University. Emeka Iwala is a professor of biochemistry and center leader stroke director of the World Bank-funded Covenant Applied Informatics and Communication African Center of Excellence at Covenant University, Nigeria. The center is a research center that focuses on the development of novel molecular biomarkers of prostate and breast cancer and small molecule inhibitors against malaria. He is the principal investigator of the center, the CAPTC Covenant University, a research affiliate of the Prostate Cancer Transatlantic Consortium involved in global prostate cancer research. The trend that bettered Professor Emeka Eze Joshua Iwala started his journey on 3rd of August 1968 in Umuahia. It has gone through a lot, the mileage. He was promoted to the rank of professor at Covenant University in 2015 and has served in several capacities in the university, including coordinator of biochemistry program, head of department of biological sciences, chairman, Central Curriculum Committee, chairman, University Strategic Committee, chairman, Covenant University Open and Distance Learning Committee, director, Covenant University Center for Research, Innovation and Discovery, and chair, membership of several ad hoc committees. If it's the common balance from where I come, you call him Ogandi Oga. Professor Iwala chaired the ad hoc committee that wrote and won the $6 million United States World Bank supported Covenant Applied Informatics and Communication African Center of Excellence, where he currently serves as the center leader and director. As director of CUCRID, Professor Iwala was instrumental to the signing of the first Memorandum of Understanding on Commercialization of Research Output at the Covenant University. His research interests cover a broad range of biochemical areas in chemoprevention, cancer biology, antioxidants, nutrition, drugs, medicinal plants, molecular biology, and public health. He belonged to several national and international professional bodies, including the Nigerian Society of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, Nigerian Society for Experimental Biology, Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, the Royal Society of Biology, Biochemical Society, London African Organization for Research and Training in Cancer, American Association for Cancer Research, European Association for Cancer Research, and British Association for Cancer Research. He is a fellow of the Royal Society of Biology and an elected member of the Grants Committee of the Biochemical Society, London. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you once again, Professor Emeka Eze Joshua Iwala. Thank you.
Sounds the big one.
Congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. I bring you greetings from the Chancellor and Chairman Board of Regents of Covenant University, Dr. David Oyedepo, the Vice Chancellor, Covenant University, Professor Timothy Anake, the entire management, faculty, staff, and students.
Welcome, sir. We apologize. We are going to abridge this. If you have this copy, it's loaded. So you take your time to know who, find out completely who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Sir Dr. Ebitimi Peter Berezi, who is the Provost of Isaac Jasper Borough College of Education. Dr. Berezi, in search of higher educational qualification, had a stint at the Rivers State School of Basic Sciences, where he did his A-levels before being admitted into the unique University of Port Harcourt, where he backed his BSc, MSc, and PhD in medical biochemistry. He also holds a postgraduate diploma in petroleum engineering and a master's degree in business administration with marketing option from the then Rivers State University of Science and Technology, now Rivers State University, sorry. He was a two-time member of the College Governing Council and chairman and member of several college committees. As a lecturer, he has taught many students who have backed their own PhD and master degrees. He's currently a senior adjunct lecturer in the Department of Biochemistry in Bayelsa Medical University and was the immediate past head of department and a member of the University Senate. He has published over 55 peer-reviewed journal articles in local and international journals and has written 2 textbooks. He has also reviewed papers in some journals. He was appointed as the substantive provost of Isaac Jasper Borough College of Education in September 2021. Under his leadership, the college has undergone monumental transformation in administration and physical infrastructure. A round of applause. You're looking, are we hungry? He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Chemistry of Nigeria, a fellow and the current vice president of the Chemical Society of Nigeria, a member of the Nigerian Society of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, the Grand Second President of Port Harcourt Grand Commandery of the Knights of St. John International, a devout Catholic. Another round of applause. He is married to a noble lady, Perekebina Kimia Berezi, and their union is blessed with 5 children and 5 grandchildren. I'm sure there's some scientists among the 5. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the last but not the least of the awardees for today, Dr. Ebitimi Peter Berezi.
Toxicology at WASOT.
Congratulations. Let me hold it.
The president, WASOT, the former president WASOT, the ESCO members of WASOT. It is a pleasure and a honor to be awarded this fellowship of WASOT. I really want to thank my friend and brother, Professor Kingsley Wayaun. We were schoolmates in secondary school, and he had been a very formidable force of my membership with WASOT, and today culminating in my being awarded this fellowship. I thank you very much. Like the other awardees have also said, I really appreciate this award. And I want to tell you that my commitment to WASOT will be undiluted. I will do everything in my powers to make sure the society grows from strength to strength. I want to thank every one of you here witnessing this occasion today. It's been a privilege to have you as members of this society. And may God grow WASOT to greater height. Thank you very much.
Please, another round of applause to all our awardees. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to the last item on this program for all our awardees. And I want to call on the MC to please take charge so that we can move on from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Congratulations to the newly minted fellows of the West African Society of Toxicology, WASOT. Please, can we give another round of applause to them, please? You know, our keynote speaker, Professor Godwin Ojo-Igile, came here as a professor of industrial and environmental biochemistry from the University of Calabar. And when he lives here, he will live as one of the fellows of the West African Society of Toxicology. Please, can we appreciate God? When I met Prof, I told Prof after the courtesy call to the Vice Chancellor that in 2016, I had the privilege of serving in Cross River State at a Cross River Broadcasting Service in Ecom. We were camped in Obubura, and within the 10 months or thereabout that I spent in Cross River, I was able to enjoy the beauty of the state as well as the different delicacies the state had to offer. I also mentioned to Prof that one of my younger brothers is a law student in the University of Calabar as well. So at least we can appreciate Prof because, I mean, I don't know what to say, but I want to once again just congratulate and appreciate you. And I heard you mention that the next WASOT conference is going to be in Calabar. Hopefully by then, I'll find a way to smuggle myself to Calabar. Please, another round of applause for them. So I have the privilege to now, under the authority of the president of WASOT, to invite the newly inducted fellows of the West African Society of Toxicology to join the president and the immediate past president on the stage. Please, can we give them an applause as they make their way to the stage? I believe we can do better than that. I believe we can do better than that. So quickly now, we're going to do two things before we close for the day. Before we get to the presentation by students of Theatre Arts Department, I would like to say that we appreciate the efforts of our sponsors and partners who were able to make this particular event here today possible. In no particular order, I would like to, on behalf of the LOC chair and the LOC members, appreciate the effort of the Nigerian Bottling Company Limited, the effort of Guinness, the effort of NAFDAC, the effort of the Standard Organization of Nigeria, the effort of the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research, the effort of our partner institution, University of Benin, the effort of NNPC, the Edo State government, as well as the World Health Organization. Please, can we appreciate our sponsors and partners? At this point in time, I'd like to invite to the microphone for the goodwill message from the Standard Organization of Nigeria, a rep of SON. Please, can we appreciate her as she makes her way to the microphone?
Goodwill message delivered on the 12th International Conference with the theme Toxicology and Public Health, Bridging Science and Policy for Healthier Communities on 20th February 2025 at Igbinedion University, Okada, Edo State, Nigeria. Distinguished members of the High Table, Vice Chancellor, sir, Deputy Vice Chancellor, sir, the Registrar, the President, WASOT, the Chairman of the LOC, the Director, Center for Marine Pollution Monitoring and Seafood Safety, invited guests on the High Table, members of the press, Organization of Nigeria, Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwunonso Okeke, the Regional Director, South-South, Mrs. Patience Wanzakuzi, and the State Coordinator of Standards Organization of Nigeria, Mrs. Dapo Onafuye Helen, who are avoidably absent. On behalf of Standards Organization of Nigeria, I'm pleased to extend our heartfelt goodwill on the theme, Toxicology and Public Health, Bridging Science and Policy for Healthier Communities. SON recognizes the health and safety of our citizens are paramount, and this can only be achieved through scientific knowledge and the development of robust standards. Toxicology, as the science of understanding the harmful effects of chemicals and pollutants, play an essential role in safeguarding public health. By translating toxicological findings into actionable policies, we can ensure the regulations effectively mitigate risk and protect communities from environmental and industrial hazards. This theme resonates deeply with our mission to promote the development of standards and ensure the safety, quality, and environmental sustainability of products, processes, and services in Nigeria. We believe that through the integration of toxicological science and informed policymaking, we can address public health challenges
and athletes. May the soul of late Professor Francis Chukuma and Cletus and many others who have passed rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for that. Before I invite the next person to the microphone for the goodwill message, I want to say that what we are here witnessing today, in part, wouldn't have been possible without the very huge support that the LOC received from this particular organization. Not only were they very instrumental financially to making this event a possibility, but they were also very instrumental materially. And they went as far as even providing a whole lot of logistical support to back, members of the local organizing committee in order for us to have a very wonderful 12th international conference here today at Igbinedion University. It's on that note that you will permit me to invite to the microphone for the goodwill message by Dr. Efemena Onowubeda on behalf of the World Health Organization. Please, can we appreciate him?
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, so my name is Ifemena. I'm not Efemena. Onowubeda. I'm a proud Isoko man. So I'm here on behalf of the state coordinator of the World Health Organization to give a goodwill message at this 12th conference of the West African Society of Toxicology. Before I read the speech, I think this year's theme is very important. I'm a public health physician, so I know the role that toxicology has to play in responding to public health situations across the country. So, Mr. President, I want to say that you have a seat on the public health team. Response to outbreak in Nigeria is currently approached using the One Health approach. And when we talk about One Health, we talk about the human sector, where you bring in the doctors, the nurses. We talk about the animal sector, and we talk about the environmental sector. So, for example, we are responding to Lassa fever outbreak in Edo State currently. We want to see that the toxicologists are telling us what are the environmental factors that are driving Lassa fever outbreak in so and so LGA, and why we're not having it in this LGA. Those are areas where you can come in. And so we'll be wanting to see this collaboration from you all. So to my speech, this is a goodwill message on behalf of WHO. So good afternoon, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests and participants. It's with great pleasure I extend the warm greetings on behalf of the World Health Organization to all gathered here for the 12th West African Society of Toxicology International Conference. This year's theme, Toxicology and Public Health, Bridging Science and Policy for Healthier Communities, is both timely and essential as we navigate the complex challenges posed by environmental and chemical hazards to human health. Toxicology plays a crucial role in public health by providing the scientific evidence needed to shape
our eyes with their performance. And usually, when you call students of the Department of Theatre Arts for a performance, they don't disappoint. So, to our esteemed guests and visitors who are here witnessing this for the first time, we crave your indulgence to give us just a few minutes of your time as they take over the stage for their performance. Thank you very much. Please, can we appreciate them? Can we appreciate them? That was a beautiful dance performance by students of the Theatre and Film Studies. I would also like to inform our very esteemed guests that on the 22nd of February 2025, being this week Saturday, Nigeria's pioneer and still leading private university, Benedict University Okada, would be holding her 26th matriculation ceremony here at the main campus. So if you are really particular celebration, I'd also like to inform our guests that the university last year celebrated her 25th anniversary. That is 25 years of uninterrupted academic calendar. Please, can we applaud that? I would also like to inform our very distinguished guests and visitors that Benedict University championed the cause of private universities in Nigeria when on the 10th of May 1999, the university was issued with the certificate number 001. So you can applaud, please. I'm trying to say this because I know that one of the recipients of the fellowship of the West African Society of Toxicology is a very distinguished, most senior colleague from Covenant University. So I'm just trying to say that the likes of Covenant exist because the Benedict University started. Please, can we appreciate God for that? All right. Cotton